personality, and in extension about temperament. Karibuni sana. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Venus Chengo. I'm a counseling psychologist. I'm just glad to be here and glad to be talking to you today about personality and temperament. And I'm hoping by the time we are done, you'll be able to understand at least the people you live with, why they behave the way they do, why they react to things the way they react to them. And of course, I am sure this will help you enhance the relationship that you have with your family members, with your friends, even at work and around your community at large. So karibuni sana. I won't take so much time waiting for the rest of the guys to join in. They will find us continuing. I know time is of essence, especially today being a Sunday, and for those of us who are or who will be reporting to work tomorrow. So I hope I will take at least at most 45 minutes to 1 hour for this. And allow me to just thank you for the tremendous feedback that you have given me. Last week we talked about narcissism. Actually, we've done I think I've done 2 videos on narcissism. And for those of you who are joining in for the first time, kindly check out our videos. You can check out on my personal page, Venus Europa, or on this page, the Mind Spa. I'll be sharing them also on my YouTube handle, so you can just visit my YouTube channel and just get a recap of what we have been doing. I've been doing this every other Sunday, and I'm hoping that some of you are getting blessed. And I want to also thank the people who have personally reached out to me to give me feedback about the videos, to also just give me a thumbs up for what we are doing here. It's really good, it's really encouraging to get feedback from you. I'd also like to hear more of what you want me to talk about. Karibu sana Jogi Kuhi, I can see you're watching. I'd also like to just hear from you. What would you want me to talk about in the future as pertains to psychology? I want to say human science is very complex, but when you go to the basics and you learn and are able to understand the basics, how to relate to people and how and why people behave the way they do, then it makes it easier for you. We are able to minimize conflict, the kind of violence that we are seeing around, and so many other things. So basically, if you're just able to understand things from a very basic level of science is complex, then that should be able to put you at a place where you're living in harmony with the rest of the people. So allow me to begin. Someone just asked me, Venus, why don't you get in and delve into personalities and temperaments and make us understand the different types of people that we have, even in organizations, around us, in our own families, even as pertains to our children. Everyone is born with a genetic imprint, all right? And this genetic imprint has to do with your personality traits. So allow me to just define the difference between personality and temperaments. Personality is basically built from the temperament that you have. So these are traits, very Nancy Korigo Chumba, Karibu Sana, thank you for joining in. Today we are talking about personality. And I was just trying to explain what personality is. So this is what your character is like, what people know you as, So that is what we call personality. But when we talk about temperament, it's like, the very many things, it's like having a ball of traits that now build up onto a character. So I hope you're able to understand the two, and for us to be able to understand, because personality types are many, okay? At a basic level, if we use what we call the Myers-Briggs indicator, or how we measure personality in psychology, the 4 basic personality types the 4 types. There are actually 4 types of basic personality types, but in extension they go till 8, and by virtue of mixing all these 4, we get 16 types. So when you talk about temperaments, there are 4 types of temperaments, all right? And the first one is choleric, the second one being melancholic, the third one being sanguine, and the fourth one being phlegmatics. And before we even delve into today I'll talk about 2 types of temperaments. But before we even go into this, I'd like to allow us to know why we behave the way we do. As I said initially, we are products of our parents, and today is Mother's Day, so please allow me to wish all the mothers who are watching me and who will be watching me later a happy Mother's Day. Truly, we are the ones who are, procreating and, making this world go round. So thank you so much, and to all the mothers out there who have brought up, strong people in the society. I mean, we are nurturing creatures. So happy Mother's Day to you. Alolo Adidi, Karibu Sana. Thank you so much for joining in. Now, one thing that I always emphasize, it's very important to understand why we are shaped the way we are. Each of us came from a mother and a father, all right? There are 2 people who came in and procreated to have you. So the first thing that influences who we are is our biological component. And a lot of us see, when we are interacting with people, they always tell you, this is how, people just tell me I behave the way my mom behaves, like I'm so, So that shows you that part of who we are is based on what we inherit from our parents. That is the biological aspect, okay? And then you're born into this environment that tends to shape you, all right? It shapes the way you think. All right. So if you know, and if you look at how people behave when in different cultures, it also shows you how impactful the psychosocial environment is. So the environment we live in influences how we behave, how we talk, how we think, based on everything that takes place in the environment. All right. For example, there's a way we talk. For us who are based here, in Kenya and in extension, we have our cultures. So there's a way we express ourselves. That is part of the reason you'll find if you put different people from different nationalities, you'll find so many distinct traits in them. And this brings out the environment, all right? So I hope I'm making sense. So 2 things, if I can just start from that point, the biological and then the environment, which affects how we think, how we behave, how we process things, okay? Moki, Angela, Dorothy, Ndinda Kimweli, Karibuni Sana. I am so honored to have you listening to me. Please give me feedback, ask any questions. Today we are thinking about and we are talking about our personality traits. So I introduced you to the 4 types of temperaments. That is the cholerics, the melancholics, the sanguines, and the phlegmatics. And there's a Greek physician who brought in a twist into how psychology looks at things, and he brought in one element that I really like to relate to when I'm presenting about temperaments, and that is the body fluids, what we call the humor. And one thing he said is that we are, how we behave is also he compared our behavior to the fluids or organs that are in our bodies. So you'll find that as we move on, you will realize that certain temperaments are hooked onto certain organs, related to certain organs and certain fluids in our bodies, all right? And as I would like to categorize the temperaments according to the body fluid, the seasons, and the symbols of nature, and how these temperaments can make certain careers, they thrive in certain careers, okay? Vicky Mutile, Asante for joining in, Karibu Sana, and their basic desires, emotional needs, and what controls them. So even as we relate, I'm going to categorize, these temperaments according to these things. So guys, let's start with the first type of temperament called the cholerics. So if you're looking at a ruler, one end to the other, we have the extremes. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I like to say, there's the number 1 being a phlegmatic and the other one being a choleric. And choleric is mostly extreme because it's made of people who are very, very focused and, you know, emotionally driven by certain things. So cholerics, you know, if I can just talk about what our previous video that was on narcissism. Cholerics make, you know, the extreme narcissists, and you get to realize why they are like this as we go on. Okay, so who are these cholerics? Let's look at their characters. Yeah, they're very, very confident. Yeah, they're people who stand, you know, in crowds, and they don't, you know, they're you know, they're very direct. They don't stammer. They're very, you know, they're very confident when they speak. So by that, automatically, you get to know that they make very, very good leaders, all right? They're very ambitious, extremely focused, and very strong-willed. And I'm hoping that even as I talk, you'll be able to pick out people around you that have these traits, okay? Now, one downside of cholerics, they can be very manipulative and very, very domineering, all right? By virtue of them being leaders, it shows you that when they're placed in organizations, they love telling you what to do, and they follow you to T. Have you done this? I think I said that this should be done, you know, and they will analyze everything. So that makes that manipulative element come out. In relationships, they're very specific. I want you to do this. Some of them, even when you know, if you have a spouse who is choleric, they don't like the surprise element. So they'll always hint to you and tell you, but then if you ever like do for me a party, if you ever like want to surprise me, if you ever want to buy something for me for my birthday, this is what I want. In a way, you would see some manipulation, all right? They are very specific as to how they want things to be done because they are perfectionists, all right? So these cholerics, they manipulate, but most of the time, you know, we tend to misunderstand them, all right? And most of them have, can I say, bile with people, because people hardly understand it is a temperament issue. In our culture today, we are very good to judge. Yeah, we are very quick to judge people, and I always encourage even guys who come in for therapy. It's good to ask yourself: could this issue that I'm seeing be an influence of someone's temperament? Okay, because once you're able to understand people, it's very easy to maneuver around them. Karibuni sana Nina, Emma, and Flo. I can see you joining in. I'm really honored to have you. So we are talking about temperament, yeah, and we're talking about cholerics. So we've said they are manipulative, they are ambitious, very confident and direct when they speak. And you will find that such a person can exhibit a very serious face, yeah. And even as we continue on, you'll find out interestingly why they make very good, you know, why they are predisposed to certain careers, okay? Then cholerics have zero tolerance to gossip, small talk, and fake people. So they're the kind of people who tell you it's a black and white thing. I don't like having friends. I mean, I do not know whether you're my friend or you're my enemy. They don't do well with the they're called frenemies, yes. They love it when you come out clearly and say, I'm your friend or I'm your enemy. All right? They do not like that middle ground where there are gray areas, because it doesn't give them that control over you or over the situation that they'd want to be with you. You understand? So for cholerics, if they're your friends, let me tell you, you can call them at midnight. They will show up. They are very, very supportive. But they love loyalty. They love loyalty. They do not like that middle ground. James Mbogwa, my lecturer, thank you for joining in. Karibu sana. I'm hoping to hear from you in terms of feedback. All right, we are talking about temperaments, and we've started with cholerics, and we're just talking about the different characteristics that these people have. Now, cholerics, having been manipulative and having that perfectionism in them, they are very, very organized. All right, very organized. They're the kind of people who thrive, doing stuff for themselves, or even, having PAs, who, they are, when you have a PA, you always tell them that I want my things done in a certain way. So these guys are very, very organized at what they do. They work well with diaries and journals. They love to jot a lot. They love to use reminders. They are very, because of that perfectionist element in them. They love to have, a consistency in how they do things, and they love to deliver. They hardly disappoint. When they tell you this is the time you're going to meet, they will be there. They're very disciplined, by the way. Very, very disciplined. And I'm hoping even as I'm talking, you'll be able to relate with such people around you. And later on, I'm hoping that I'll be able to help you to, solve issues that may crop up with them by understanding their weaknesses, all right? Then, these people are risk takers. Give them a business deal. Give them, tell them, there's this thing, we're going to make, this amount of money. They will analyze and they'll delve into it, all right? They are risk takers, all right? So those are some of the most dominant characteristics of cholerics. Now, what are their emotional needs? They love to be appreciated. They love to be loved, They love recognition. And this thing is normally an issue about power, Think about, the politicians and everything. When they're standing there, it's about the ego coming out, and they want to, just display their power. But when as they do so, they expect the applauses, they want to be appreciated, yeah? So this is, those two elements are the most important things for cholerics: love and appreciation. And in your relationship, if you have a spouse who has this type of temperament, if you can just get out of your way and always remind them that you love them and show them, go out of your way in very small ways, buying them gifts, And when you talk about gifts, there are 5 different languages of love. So it's very, very important for you to understand what your spouse prefers, okay? The guys who love gifts, the guys who love being affirmed, the guys who just love being touched in public, it's their way of, seeing that you appreciate them. So even as you deal with this person, please make sure as you're appreciating them, it is in line with their language of love. I hope I'm making sense, all right? And one thing, as I said earlier, they love loyalty. They love loyalty. It's a black or white, situation. No gray area. You give them loyalty, they give it back to you. All right? And another thing is they love power. Cholerics love to see that they are in control. And when you talk about cholerics, another way that I can equate them is their drivers. They love to take hold of that steering wheel, and they will tell you, we are going to Machakos, we are going to Nakuru, okay? And they will drive you all the way. They like being in control. They will manipulate that steering wheel. That's how, cholerics are. And I want, as I said earlier, I want to, incorporate some of these things, some small things that can help you remember these temperaments, all right? So, 3 things to remember: the emotional needs of cholerics. They love being loved. They love being appreciated, okay? Number 2, they love loyalty and they love power. And I can imagine that you're already being able to join your dots and see, do I have a child who's a choleric? Do I have a partner who's a choleric? All right? I'm hoping that this is, this is becoming interesting even as we continue, yeah? Now, what controls cholerics? Anger. All right? When you look at their character, they love manipulation. They love, they're very ambitious. They're risk takers. But their downside is anger. Cholerics have 0 tolerance, as I said, to gossip, to small talks. They don't like being wasted for time. So when you start beating around the bush, if it's your boss and they're telling you, come, is your presentation ready? Come, let's see what you have. and they're like, and they're like, I gave you time. What have you been doing all this time? We discussed you're supposed to deliver today. There goes a choleric. All right? There goes a choleric. They just, it's not because they love, shouting at people. It's because they're very ambitious. They are perfectionists, going by their character. They love deliverables. They love people when they deliver. And when you deliver, they actually reward you. So when you're beating around the bush, for them, it's like, you're wasting their time. You're wasting their precious time. All right? So when you see your boss getting angry, don't be like, my God, this guy is so mean. This is just part of their temperament. All right? They are wired that way. So when you get on the wrong side, this anger comes out and they can be very, very argumentative. Have you ever had teenagers who are cholerics and you're trying to tell them, I want you to wake up in the morning, and you read, it's like, why are you, they don't like to be controlled. They don't like, and they will use that anger to manipulate you. And a lot of us as parents, a lot of us, even as spouses, people who are in relationship, even in friendships, we are being controlled by this element of anger, where someone can really, have this anger bouts, and you're like, okay, fine, I just want peace. Also, based on your own temperament, there are people who will just, want, to have peace, so they will sort of like, humble themselves and, just allow the other person to be. So, cholerics are controlled by anger, all right? I told you, if it's maybe, one of the feedbacks that I was given is that, you're making this look like it's only men who do this. Please forgive me if it comes out that way. I always say that I'm talking from a place of being a woman. I currently do not discriminate any gender. So even as I relate, please just understand it's from being a woman. Had it been a man explaining this, I'm sure they'd also be putting it like it's, the opposite sex. So for me, I'd like to emphasize that sometimes, like if it's your spouse who has the anger issues, where they told you, baby, I'm coming at this time, and I'm hungry. Maybe they call you and tell you, I'm hungry, baby, is food ready? And then they get home and food is not ready. It's like, for how long am I going to, I have been out there, I've been finding food for you, I have been, and I called you and I told you I'm hungry. How come food is not ready in this house? Gosh, have you ever seen such kind of, reactions? Most of these people fall in the category of cholerics. Thank you so much, Halima Adan, for listening in. Thank you so much, Wanjiko, Kogi, Kigo, Mili, Benson Omanga, Betty Mbulatina Mwix, Phyllis, thank you so much. I appreciate that you're watching. If you can, please share this to your groups. Sharing is caring, and when you share about mental wellness, it does really say a lot about you, okay? So cholerics are controlled by anger, all right? And you find that most homes that even experience violence is because one of the spouses has anger issues, and these anger issues is because that is their temperament predisposement. Okay, so people, please don't be quick to judge your spouses. Don't be quick to judge people around you. Kindly try and understand them first before you can point fingers at them. What else controls cholerics? Remember, I said they're very focused. And they're very, very confident at what they do. They love power. They love perfectionists. They're perfectionists. So one thing that controls them is work, business projects, all right? Goals. As I said, they're drivers. When they just touch that steering, when they get hold of that steering wheel, we are going to Machakos. And that's where they will take you, all right? So these are the kind of people who will not even come home early because they have a project, all right? There are people who will not have peace until they buy, if they've been told there's this land that is on sale and maybe they don't have enough money. I'm telling you, they'll be so stressed. They will not be, even in the house, you will not be sleeping. Like, they'll be, where do I get, there's a lot of, they get so worked up. Where do I get money? Oh my God. this thing will bring us money in the future. You know, those kind of people, they have focus. They know at the end of the day, this will make us good money. So they won't rest. Why? Because they're very ambitious. They're very goal-oriented. So it's about hitting that goal, scoring that goal, and feeling like, yes, my ego, hey, you know, the power there, right there. These are the cholerics. All right, I am just hoping that you can see some of the people you live around with, how they behave, even as I can explain them to you. Now, one basic desire and the most desire that cholerics have is control. Control. And you know, when you compare narcissists, you know, and cholerics, as I said, you know, most cholerics are narcissists. Thank you so much, Ken Fraser, for watching from America. I'm truly honored to have you listening. Okay, so we're talking about cholerics, and one thing that I said at the beginning, one of the most dominant characters of cholerics is manipulation and domination. All right, so right from that already you can tell that they love to control. All right, for the ladies, you're there, you've dressed up, you know, you put your makeup on, you know, and you've worn your shoes, you're feeling, yeah, you know. Then your husband tells you, what is that you're wearing? Honestly, like, who are you going to please? You know that element of like, who are you? I mean, did you even ask me, like, the kind of people we are going to see? Have you ever had such statements from your spouses? You know, like, no, just go and change. This doesn't really, you know, it doesn't, you know, it's like you're trying, you know, you go there, you know, people will start commenting about you. So it's all about manipulation. They're the kind of people, they will tell you, no, this seat should not be here. Let it be moved here. It's their way or the highway. Control. They love to just control everyone around them. That is their most basic desire. And if this desire is not met, trust you me, there will not be peace. Until a choleric feels that they have control over a situation, they have a control over a project, they have control over any situation that comes their way, they are hardly at peace. But once they have the power, let me tell you, they become very, very nice people. They're people who laugh around with you, they make very good friends, they make very good colleagues. Only if they have control. All right? Now, they also have fears. You know, we are human beings, let me tell you. And we all thrive in certain environments. Yeah? And we also tend to have fear in certain environments. All right? So, one thing that cholerics do not like is being taken advantage of. They don't like being taken advantage of. Cholerics are goal-oriented people. They do not love small talk. They have no time for gossip. For them, it's about productivity. So when you come into their space and you take advantage of them, you will not be friends. Let me tell you, they will unleash their anger on you. You know, you will become enemies of. Yeah, you get to certain levels and you're like, my God, what did I ever do to this person? All right? So they don't like being taken advantage of. To them, being taken advantage of is when you do not even come out clearly and tell them why you're there. Why are you in my life? Why are you coming to sell this thing? Why you say, you know, have you ever approached, for those guys who are in networking and all that, and you're selling a product, and you know, you approach someone, hi sir, then he's like, okay, I have this, you know, this cup that I'm selling to you, you know, he's like, come on, tell me, what will I benefit? How will it benefit me? You know, go directly to the point. Don't waste time. And don't sell it to me because you want my money. That is taking advantage of me. So that's how they process their thoughts. It's about what makes sense. They hardly give you the space for you to take advantage of them. And if you really manage to do so, you will be enemies. All right, I hope I'm making sense. Karibu sana Victor Kambu, Mike Korra, thank you for watching. Winfred Mugro, thank you for watching. Please share in your respective groups. For me, I'm doing this, you know, just to get out there to you I know we are facing COVID challenges where, we have to, keep that social distance, but sharing in the various groups is, basically showing that you care about mental wellness. Manganya Onyasai, thank you for joining in. So moving forward, what motivates these choleric temperaments? Okay, challenges. Give me that steering wheel. Tell me, are we going for rhino charge? Take me to those rocky areas. My car has been propped up, I want to go, and they're the kind of people, they're driven by adrenaline. Challenge, give me this mountain and I will move it. All right, these are cholerics, and when they don't have challenges in their lives, they are normally very, very bored and stressed. Like what, so they love challenges. Why? Because they love feeling they're dominating. They love feeling that they have power to manipulate circumstances in their lives. They're very confident that when they get their hands on something, they will actually achieve what they need to achieve. And most cholerics, by the way, are very successful in life. Why? Because they know how to drive. They know how to drive life. They know how to tap into their purpose. They know how to go to, get to their destinies in life. All right? Lydia Kano, Karibu Sana, thank you for watching. Please share this to your various groups, okay? Now, another thing that motivates them is when they get into free spaces. Cholerics don't love being manipulated. They love manipulating. So, when you try to manipulate them, they they just automatically log out, But when they are let into a free space where they can be themselves without anyone, judging them. Karibu Omondi, thank you for watching. They feel, like they can deliver, They love when you trust them. So don't give them routines. It becomes boring for them. Like, okay, let's wake up, let's go jogging. Yes, they are focused, but don't get into their space and try, telling them, they love to be the ones in charge. If they're doing stuff, they're doing it for themselves, all right? And not really being driven by other people, all right? So that motivates them. That just being in that, space where they can be free, where they can control stuff. And then the ability to decide. As I said, they are very, very manipulative. They make very good leaders, by the way. They make excellent leaders. And why do I say this? Because they push people to become a better version of themselves. Just by that element of being perfectionists, they'll make you deliver to T for you to be able to have peace. All right? So having that ability to decide things makes them very, very motivated in life. Now, as I said at the beginning, I will relate, the temperaments to certain body fluids and organs. And cholerics have to do with the yellow bile. What does the bile, when you think about bile, what comes to mind? Bile is that thing that is produced, that fluid that is produced when your tummy is irritated, And for those of us, like I remember when I was a young child, when I was a young kid and growing up, my mom used to tell me when you get malaria, you have to vomit that yellow thing, for you to, for them to think that, to know that you're well, all right? So bile is actually secreted by the liver. And a lot of us use this expression of like, me, I don't like Venus. She normally has a lot of bile, even people in society uses it, okay, to describe people who supposedly don't agree with others, all right? But most of the time, it's not the issue of agreeing. I always think it's because we do not understand these people, all right? So please remember that when you're thinking about cholerics, because we have 3 other temperaments to talk about. Today, I'm just going to do 2, the extremes, choleric and phlegs. And then next week on Sunday, again, we're going to look at the sanguines and the melancholics. And I'm hoping by the end of all these people, you will be able to actually coexist and, be able to understand the people that you're living with, the spouses that you have, your own parents. Today is Mother's Day. Maybe you can reflect, what kind of personality did my mother, was my mother when, because of the kind of characteristics that she used to, display, all right? When it comes to, sorry, the organ, I sort of like deviated. When it comes to the body organ, cholerics are related to the spleen. Why? It is the lymphatic, it's part of the lymphatics, it's the largest organ in the lymphatic system, and it has to do with fighting diseases. So when you think about this, automatically, you know that cholerics are people who fight for power. They fight for domination. They fight for manipulation. I said they're very focused when it comes to achieving stuff in life. All right? Now, let's look about the symbols. You remember I said about we're going to also relate them to symbols of nature. Cholerics are equated to fire. Think anger, think fire. All right? These two go hand in hand. They explode when things do not or are not done their way. All right? So cholerics are equated to that symbol of fire because that is exactly who they are. All right? And when it comes to seasons, they are also equated to summer, you know, because during summer it's hot, there's heat. So these are the kind of people who thrive, you know, where there's you know, riots, for lack of a better word. When you want to, you know, when you're looking for people to, you know, riot, and I say this not to, you know, I'm a person who loves peace, yeah? But yes, these are the kind of people who are daring enough to go out to the street because there's something about anger, there's something about fire that just makes them very happy, just gives them a kick, you know, in life. So these are the cholerics. And sometimes, you know, this is just the funniest thing in relationships. They actually thrive when things are not working. Like you're fighting as a couple. You know, it gives them a kick. You know, it's like somehow, they, you know, have you ever seen those relationships whereby every other day people are fighting, but I mean, there's no motivation for peace. One spouse just doesn't feel like they are in that space where they want to make peace. Why? Because by intimidating the other spouse, they feel they have the controls. They feel they have the power. They feel that they are in charge. A little bit of that narcissistic tendency that we were talking about last week. Right? And what careers are these people best placed in? You can always guess it. Army generals, all right? Cholerics can make very good army generals. Basically in a position of leadership. These guys will thrive. Why? These guys, by the way, even when you look at their faces, some of them naturally have a very, very, you know, stern-looking face. Okay? They make very good managers. The directors, the CEOs, you know, there's a way. You know, I always say there's a way life shapes you into your careers, and some of these things come naturally. All right? They come naturally, and they make very good business owners. When you have a choleric who has his own business, let me tell you, it thrives. Why? They wake up themselves. They wake up themselves. They do not need to be pushed around, you know, go and do this. Why? They have the perfectionist in them. They have, you know, they have this thing of, I want to, you know, I know where I'm going. So they want to manipulate stuff. They want success, all right? So they make very, very good business owners. All right, guys, I'm hoping, I just hope that I'm making sense. Karibu sana, Elisha, Karomangula, Janet, Judith, thank you for joining in. We are talking about temperaments, and I've started off with cholerics, just winding up on cholerics. Maybe later on I will share this video on my personal page, and you can have a recap of what we've already said. I would like to move on to the next temperament, which is phlegmatics. And if you have a question, please inbox me. If you have any feedback, kindly feel free to share with me. Let me know what you'd like me to talk about in the future. All right? So I was saying, you know, at the beginning, on a scale of 1 to 10, and 1 being the phlegmatics, cholerics are 10. So when you think about the two, one is the opposite of the other. So allow me to introduce the second type of temperament that we're going to talk about today, and that is the phlegmatic. I love phlegmatic. And let me mention this. A couple that is made of phlegmatics and choleric actually thrive. Why? Because they are extreme. So you find that a choleric is very, very manipulative, is controlled by anger, you know, all those things that I talked about. And the phleg is a very peaceful person. Very, very peaceful. Let us look at the traits of traits or characters of a phlegmatic. Number one, phlegmatics are very, very, very logical. They love to think. They love to analyze things. They love to work with figures. They love challenges in terms of what makes logic. You know, what really, you know, where do I fit this? All right? Very logical. When they are attacked, you know, with issues in life, they will never, unlike the choleric who just goes and, you know, unleashes anger, you know, without thinking. You know, cholerics just, you know, like, gosh, you know, they don't even think. Cholerics will first sit and think, how do I handle this issue? Because, you know, I don't want to really, you know, step onto the other person's toe. I would really love to maintain peace. So they're very calculative in how they handle issues. As I said, on the opposite, cholerics will just abuse you, attack you, then think later. All right? So phlegmatics are very, very logical, very analytic in how they handle issues. They're very calm. Gladys, karibu sana. Charles, thank you for joining in. They're very calm. We're talking about phlegmatics. They're very calm and relaxed, you know, even as they do things. By the way, these guys are never like stressed. Do you know you can have a fight with a phlegmatic spouse and they will sleep for 15 hours while you, the choleric, is, you know, you're banging things in the bedroom. You're like, you know, I need you to see me. I want you to show me this attention, because cholerics love appreciation. They love being noticed. They love feeling like they are, you know, powerful. Phlegmatics will snore, will be at peace when there's a fight, and you know, it's very easy for you to misunderstand them. You'd think that they don't really care, because half the times when I'm handling couples, the women will always say, he doesn't care. Because when we are fighting, when we have issues in the relationship, he's always sleeping more than usual. He's always snoring, which is very irritating. You know, he just looks very calm. So calmness irritates a choleric spouse. But this is how these guys are just, you know, wired. They're very calm. They're very relaxed. Of course, they love peace. All right? They love peace. So most of the time you find that couples who fight is normally an issue of you don't understand the other person. You've already taken time to understand how this person is wired and how they would react to situations. Okay? Cholerics are very dependable, by the way, and very consistent at what they do. They love routines, you know. When they, you know, when they're people you can actually trust them with projects, with things. They're very, very loyal, extremely loyal. They show up, let me tell you. They show up, and these guys never, you know, they're not, unlike cholerics, where, you know, cholerics always demand, like, either you're my friend or you're not, you know. They draw the middle line. But for phlegmatics, they are free-willed, you know. So by virtue of them loving, you know, having peace and being very calm and relaxed people, they have a lot of friends, and they get the worst of friends, you know, which of course still they really don't care. Like, you know, they will still coexist even in harsh conditions. All right, so they are very, very dependable. Oh my God, sorry. They're very, very dependable. Yeah. You tell them to do things, but baby, please come, and when you're coming home, please bring this, trust you me, they will deliver as requested. Okay? Karibu Frank and Rachel, Karibu Sana, thank you for watching in. We're talking about phlegmatics. All right? So very, very dependable, very, very consistent in what they do. If they wake up at a certain time, there's that routine. They are very, very, you know, routine oriented. They're very trustworthy, as I said, very loyal. And of course, if they're loyal, calm and relaxed, definitely they'll be very humble. Guys, phlegmatics are very, very good people to be around. Why? Anyone who loves peace will create that environment for you to thrive. So most of the time, you will find that they're the submissive spouses in a relationship. All right? They are very meek, very humble. And they do this for one thing. Because they love peace. They're the kind of people who will be beaten. Let's talk about the violence that we've been hearing, in the social media and all that. Yeah? You find a woman who's being beaten, but she will still show up. She will still be there. She will still serve her husband. She will still be very, very humble. Why? For them, it's about peace. I just want peace. I just want this person to know that whatever the situation is like, I'm loyal. I love them. All right? So they end up being abused. They end up being used by people, unfortunately. And it is because of the kind of character they have. Karibu sana, Christine. All right? Phlegmatics are very loving people. Very loving. Very extremely loving. They are committed when it comes to relationships. Very committed. They are kind people. Guys, these people love peace. Can you imagine? I love, Lydia, thank you for telling me you love peace. Yes, I think I know you personally and I know you love peace. Okay? They're always committed. They're people you'll call upon. Hi, I need this. Are you able to help me? Are you able to lend me this? Very genuine people. And I think if you ask me, and this is my own personal view as Venus, and also as a psychologist, I think phlegmatics make the best temperaments, the best partners, the best spouses, the best parents. Okay, parents, I will, put it 50-50 because you also need, what we call authoritative parenting. And later on, I'll be talking about it, all right? So these people bring in peace into a home, into an organization. They're the peacemakers. When the boss is banging the table and saying, I said I wanted this report on my desk by this time, they're the ones who come and calm you and tell you, listen, it doesn't matter. You tried your best. You did try your best. So relax, okay? Relax. They are very, 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 they're very, very loving people. What controls them? Because, as I said, we are human beings and we are weak. We tend to have our own fears. We tend to thrive in certain environments. Now, because they are calm and very relaxed, you remember that characteristic that we talked about? They can also be very extremely relaxed. Remember I said when there are fights in the home and all that, they'll be snoring, They'll look very relaxed as if they're not affected. So that kind of laxity can make them procrastinate issues. You find them that they might be a bit slow to deliver stuff. You have to keep on, pushing them. Like, we need to do this, we need to do this. Yes, I remember I said they thrive, in routines. But because of the kind of, laxity, remember they are calm and peaceful people. They end up procrastinating a lot. What is their basic desire? Guys, let me tell you, if you listen to me carefully, you'll be able to coexist in any environment. In any organization, you will be able to understand people. So please listen, please share this to your groups. Let us spread mental wellness, all right? I'm very passionate about, ensuring that people are empowered and they're able to thrive even when there's a lot of stress, like now when we're having all these challenges around us, all right? The basic desire of a phlegmatic is peace. Peace. Anything they do is about peace. They eat sleep, they preach sleep, they sleep peace. It's everything around them. Anything they do is about peace. But they love respect. They love being respected. This kind of, I mean, anytime I'm having therapy with, couples, and, someone just tells me, I do this for this person, they do not respect me. That already tells me that this person has a quality of a phlegmatic. As human beings, we love being respected naturally, but phlegmatics have a deep desire. It's one of their basic desires to be respected. All right, men who are phlegmatics, they love it when their spouses approaches issues in a respectful manner, not just blurting out things. I'm talking here. Shh. I'm the one who introduced this topic. Did you call me here for the meeting? I'm the one who started this topic. Just listen to me because you have been so relaxed. You aren't bothered until I brought this up. And they're thinking, wait. Then, they'll tell you first, just wait, relax. First of all, and they bring in their logic. First of all, you have been walking here, banging things, throwing cups and spoons in this house and what. How? I was just giving you your space. Logic right there. I know you're angry, so I'm giving you the space. And because I want peace, because I want us to be able to do this talk, to have this talk in a very calm manner, I am allowing you just to have your space. All right? So it's very important to understand why your spouse behaves the way they behave. A phlegmatic will not crave for anything else other than respect and peace. Even as you begin to talk to them, it's very important that you choose the right words. Because just by one word, it's very easy for you to actually, make them log out, you lose them in terms of them giving you that listening ear. Right? What is their basic fear? Human beings, we all have fears. They are what we call phobias, which we are born with. Some of them we acquire through trauma, all right? But we have fear. No matter who you are, there's something that makes you scared. There's something that you fear in life. And for these guys, disruption to their security, to their norms, to their, that loyalty is a fear they have. They don't love issues of, fights, in, relationships. So when these issues of, conflicts arise, they don't really thrive. They don't really, it sort of like throws them off. They are unable to cope in that environment. So what happens whenever you have fear, you sort of like look for a defense. Automatically, your brain generates a behavior to counter-effect that. So this is what we call the defense mechanisms. And I'll be looking into this in the future videos that I'll be doing, how people, react to certain fears, okay? So, Joanne Miller, welcome. Thank you for watching in. We are talking about temperament. We've talked about cholerics. We are now talking about phlegmatics. And we're talking about the basic fears that phlegmatics have. And just finishing on that, they don't love disruption to loyalty. They don't love their security being interfered with or being breached. And they don't love their norms, their routines being interfered with. Remember we said cholerics are people who just love to coexist in free spaces so that they feel like they are dominating, they are dominating issues. But for phlegmatics, they do very, very well in situations whereby they have routines. Okay? I hope we are together. mpaka hapo, and for those who are watching from elsewhere, mpaka hapo means still there. Let's look at what motivates phlegmatics. Loyalty. Loyalty has to do, there's something, you know, you get when someone shows you, you know, you get, you know, there's this you know, you have trust first of all with these people. You know, there's that, you know, a feeling of calm and relaxation when you're around these people. So they really love it when people are loyal. Okay? And they love consistency. Remember, consistency has something to do with routine. All right? So those are the two things that motivate phlegmatics. And what is their weakness? They can be lazy. You remember when I talked about procrastination? How, you know, by virtue of them being very calm people, they tend to procrastinate a lot. They tend to, you know, be too relaxed. So they end up being lazy. If you don't push them, you will not, you know, see them deliver when it comes to projects and all that. Despite the fact that they are very loyal. Okay? I hope we are together, and I'm hoping that I'm really making sense even as we continue on. What careers do these people, you know, where are they best placed in terms of careers? They make very good accountants. Why? Remember the quality I talked about? They love logic, working with figures, what fits into what. So this makes them very good accountants. Okay, very good engineers, very good administrators, because they love routines, and very good diplomats. You know, for you to be a diplomat, let me tell you, you have to have what we call diplomacy, what we call etiquette. You know, put a choleric into this career, and no pun intended. If you're, you know, if you can see, if you know you're a choleric and you're placed, you know, there are times that, you know, your body can really sell you out because you're burning with, you know, you have anger, you know, and you're supposed to be calm. So phlegmatics are very good, you know, diplomats, because no matter the situation, they always know how to remain calm and relaxed. Okay, and going by their name, when you look at the body fluid, yeah, they are, you know, it's the phleg. Okay, and phleg is basically the mucus that is secreted when one has a cold. All right, and we always say that it has something to do with calming the body. Yeah, so whenever you think about a phlegmatic, think about the phleg, the fluid called the phleg of the body. All right, and when you look at the body organ, they are associated with the brain because of the logic part. You remember that trait? That is one of the dominant traits of a phlegmatic. So they are related to the brain. All right? Why? Because the brain is the one that actually processes everything. It has to do with logic. All right? And their symbol, when it comes to now the symbols of nature, water. What does water do to us? Other than cleaning us, when we want to calm ourselves down, you always told, let water run at the background, you know? This is now what phlegs do in any environment that they are put in. These guys are peacemakers, I tell you. It's like water, you know, when you just, you know, they bring in a high level of calmness. All right, so guys who are joining in, thank you so much. Jimna, Maina, Lynette Matu, William Inkoli, thank you for joining in. I know I'm running out of time. I love to keep this strictly for 1 hour, and I can see the 1 hour is already I've already exhausted the 1 hour. But even as I conclude, for those of us who are joining us, we were talking about temperaments, what makes personality. And today I've talked about two types of temperaments: cholerics, which is the extreme, you know, temperament, and this phlegmatic. So I was using this illustration on a scale of 1 to 10. Phlegmatics are at 1 and cholerics are at 10. I will definitely share this on my wall once I'm done with the video, for those of you who would like to even continue sharing. And guys, before I conclude, please allow me to say this. I'm very passionate about mental wellness. And for me, since I'm doing this, to ensure that we all are able, to deal with issues of life, even during these times where we are finding ourselves, at home most of the time. I would really be honored if you can share this to the various groups that you belong to, because when you share, it's a true sign of caring. And there's nothing as beautiful as sharing about mental wellness. We are thriving in society because we are mentally stable. Anytime there's instability, you can be assured that there'll be no peace, no matter where this is taking place. So please share this to your various groups. And I'd like to just also mention quickly that I am giving free online counseling services. All right, I go by the name The Man Spa, and currently I have partners who are able to ensure that those who are not able to pay for counseling services can access counseling at no cost. So if you know someone who's going through issues, personal issues, someone who's struggling with issues, kindly please give them my number 0777 816177. My other number is 0722 816167. My number is actually on my page. You can always reach out if you need any help. Okay, and I pray, even as I have shared these two temperaments, that you are able to get to a place of understanding, the people that are around you. You're able to be aware of yourself. Could it be that I have actually described you today? Yeah, I'm hoping that now you're able to get to a place where you are self-aware. And one thing that I really love, guys, is to give you knowledge. This thing I'm giving you for free. Why? Because I'd like you to thrive in life. So I'm hoping that I have been able to give you knowledge that you can use in the future, even as you parent, even as you play that role of a spouse, of a parent, of a leader. Something that you can use and impact even in the generations to come. All right. And lastly, I hope that I've been able to help you build an identity that you can gladly stand and say, my name is Venus Chengo, and I am a choleric. Self-awareness is very, very important. Why? It helps you when it comes to decision-making abilities. It helps you when you are making, solving problems. It helps even when it comes to heightening your spiritual awareness. When you know yourself, you're able to know how to maneuver through life. Okay, guys? You're able to know how to maneuver through life. So I'm hoping that you've been able to see yourself or see other people who you relate with, even as I explain this to you. And one thing that I'd like to say, even as I conclude, something that really motivates me, even as a psychologist, and when I'm dealing with, the day-to-day therapeutic challenges. Steve Covey said this: what we think and what we do is limited by what we fail to notice. There is nothing we can do to change unless we notice that failing to notice is what influences our deeds and our behaviors. I will repeat this very, very slowly so that you can just listen to this. What we think and do is limited by what we fail to notice. What you fail to notice. There is nothing we can do to change unless we notice that failing to notice is what influences our deeds and behaviors. Guys, life is about noticing the small things around us. And part of these things are our temperaments and our personalities. So thank you so much for watching. Please give me feedback. Let me know what you'd like me to talk about in the future videos. My name is Venus Chengo, and I'm a counseling psychologist. So thank you. I am done for today. Allow me to close with this song that I really love. For those of you who'd like to side chat me, for those of you who'd like to, reach out to me, I'm giving out my numbers again: 0722 816167. 0722 816167. The other number is 07761 816177. Thank you so much for joining. Till next time, my name is Venus Chengo, your counseling psychologist at the Mind Spa.